last left off, I'd installed the drip irrigation line for the newly, not quite together, well, not at all together, cut flower garden, which is on the opposite side of this fence. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a shutoff valve here. I've had to cut the line because this hose is smaller than this attachment. So I have a larger hose on the ground. I don't know how that is. I bought this hose many years ago. It was supposed to be the same size, but it is not. And this fitting doesn't fit in here. So here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this hose. Since it's a little bit larger, it's a little bit thinner walled. As you can see here, probably it's a little bit thinner walled. It's a little bit larger. I'm going to cut a piece of this, attach it to both ends, and I'm going to splice it together with some tools that I can either bend it, make it straight, however I want to do it. This is just what I picked up. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you how it fits in here like this. It fits in there well. The other hose, it does not fit, and it's a huge issue. Uh-oh, I'm having some difficulty today. Let's try this again. There we go. You push it in there. Hope you guys can see. Push it in there, and then you thread it down. And this hose is cold. It's not sunny today. It's overcast, so it is not cooperating. The best thing to do is to allow this hose to sit out in the sun and warm up. It's more malleable if you do that, but this has been in the house and this has been outside. So you just screw that on like that, screw it down to affix it. I don't know if you can tell, that has a little screw, I don't know what you call those. There we go. And you basically just, you put your hose on and then you screw it back on to attach it, keep it secure. So that's what I'm trying to do now. But again, this hose is cold because it's been in the house. So let me try again. I know it's hard. I'm not describing this correctly, but that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so let me cut a piece of this hose here and put it on this side, and then I'll take a fitting and fit them all together, because this does fit into here. It fits almost perfectly. So let's cut a piece. So I'm just going to cut a piece off like that. Make sure that it's ratcheted down. I can't, thread, that's what those are called, threads. There you go. So I'm gonna put it on like that. Hope you guys can see. I'm at a weird angle. There we go. Push it on and then thread it down so that it's tight around that hose, or as tight as you can get it. There we go. Just like that. And then I'm gonna cut another piece. And I'm just eyeballing it. This is just how I choose to do it, like that. Now this piece will get attached with the proper fitting. Let me see if I have any up here. I may need to go get some more. I think what I'm going to do is put this elbow piece so that it runs down. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, this hose, if I put an elbow piece, it will run down and not stick straight out. Because right now, as it is, it's sticking straight out. And so I can put the elbow piece and bend it this way, and that way the hose will run towards that way. So that's what I'm going to do. So give me just a moment. So I'm going to take the elbow joint, place it in the hose. I'm going to have to step over the hose on the ground, actually move it out of the way because it is in the way. There we go. And I'm going to try and jam this in here. You just kind of wiggle it in as far as you can get it. This needs to get warmed up because I'm having a hard time push it. And that's the one thing that you will come in to the realization of, is that when you're putting in a drip irrigation, putting in all these little fittings and emitters really does hurt your hands. So the best thing to do is to make sure that your hose is are warm and they've been outside for a while. And this really does hurt my hand. I've got to get it down a little further. You can put this in hot water. I didn't bring any out with me, so I'm just going to let it sit like this for just a little while, and then I'll go get some hot water. Okay, so next step is I'm just going to, and I'm concerned because this hose is thinner walled, and this was saying I bought this hose from the exact same place, so I just don't understand what happened. All the hose that I bought is like this, that I bought last year. It's just this size, this circumference. The hose that I got from the exact same store a couple of years ago is a little thicker walled, so it's weird. So this doesn't fit well. This is actually too large for here, so it's not snug. So I probably will have to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and see if I can get another elbow or another piece that can fit on here that is a little snugger, because I got these online and this fits perfectly. The hose down there does not fit this perfectly. So, and if I cut any more and try to put this down there, it's not going to work because this is the same hose. I'm going to run into the same problem. So the shutoff valve is not going to work right now on this particular hose because this elbow just does not fit this hose. As you can see, it, like I said, it is thinner than the hose. Let's see if I can pull it up. It's actually running under the fence or under the gate. Oh, you know what? It's not going to come up because I've already secured it to the ground with the landscape pins. So I will move you all closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, what I'm talking about is, I don't know if you can tell, but if you can see that hose has a thicker wall, and the inside circumference is thinner than the hose that I recently bought this year. I bought the hose on the ground probably 6 years ago, and I just bought this hose last year. And if I put it up against each other, you can see how different it is. The one on the top is larger and it's thinner walled, and the one on the bottom is smaller and thicker walled. So my fittings fit this one perfectly, but it does not fit the new hose. So this job may take even a few more days because this is not working out. In order to give you an example, just for right now, just for gee whiz, this is a straight connector, and I'm just going to place it in there like that. Pick the hose up from the ground, and let me see if you guys can see, because I can't tell if you can see that. You probably can't. So let me move you down just a little bit. I can't tell what you can see. I'm gonna see if you guys can see that. And then you just wiggle it in like so. Now the easiest thing to do is to do it with this one, because this hose is much tighter and it's gonna fit perfectly. There isn't gonna be any leakage, and I'll have to get my gloves. Like I said, this part is the hardest part because it is very tough to get these connectors in, and it does hurt your hand. So you just wiggle it in, and I know you guys probably can't see. I'm right-handed, so let me stand this way. Maybe you guys can see it. And I'm trying to wiggle it in. And again, I'm gonna have to put this in hot water because this is not working out for me. It's not going in the way I need it to. So I'm not gonna finish this piece right now, but you get an idea of how it's supposed to connect, just like that. And then this will run all the way into the new cut garden, which is not set up yet. So as soon as I can get the connector pushed down into the hose to here, then that's secure. I'm gonna have to figure out how I can get it to stay secure on this side, since this hose is much larger and it's not as tight fitting, and that's going to cause a leakage, not only here but here, this piece here. these two connecting pieces is going to cause a leakage. And I don't have any more of this hose, because this hose again does not fit this shut off valve connection. So in order to shut this off, this right now it's open, you would turn it one of these ways. You would turn it, and this, as long as it's sideways, it's shut off, and no water will get through here. If it's turned straight, it's open and water will flow. So let's move on to the other connection pieces and see if I can get them done better than this one, because this one did not work out the way I thought it would. But you live and you learn, so we will keep moving on, and I will have to search for another piece in order to get this to work properly. I have left the back fence and I'm walking towards the greenhouse, and I'll show you what I did over here. Let's take a look. This was a little bit easier over here. Again, I'm not sure if these are going to work out because the hose is a little bit bigger than the T-junction fitting. I am probably going to have to get some bigger ones. I thought these were the larger ones, but apparently not. But I put a T-junction, and then I put a shut-off valve here. This is running into the permanent greenhouse structure that I'm putting up, or the poly greenhouse structure that I'm putting up. I run it from here all the way. Let's show you. I run it from here all the way up under. I'm trying not to move too fast. Up under the greenhouse. I put it in a little piece of PVC pipe that I found on the property when I moved in. I just kept it. This way the main water tube doesn't get crushed, and it runs all the way up under the temporary greenhouse through the greenhouse that I'm working on right now. And I will show you where that water comes out at. It's not hooked up because I am still working on that project. This is what I was talking to you about regarding running a line under the temporary greenhouse and into the greenhouse that I am currently working on, so that there is water in the greenhouse. And this is something that if you're going to be running a drip line or any kind of irrigation or sprinkler system, you have to think ahead. Am I going to need it in this place or that place? And I thought ahead, and I thought, you know what, it'll be a good idea to go ahead and put water in the greenhouse. That way it's already in. I don't have to go and dig after I get everything in place. So that's my start there. I'm working my way through the garden and trying the connection pieces that I need to connect. This is an old piece of pipe. This is the old one. Now I know this is going to fit securely in this end, because you can see again, really small. However, I am having the worst luck today with these fittings, and I don't know if you all can see what I'm doing. Same thing. I'm just going to go through, try to wiggle these in, get them as far down as I can. Then I'm going to go get some hot water, let them rest in some hot water, or pour some hot water over them, and then loosen that up and push them down further. But for right now, I'm trying to just get them all put into place. That way I know what goes where. And that, just like that. This one I will need to get hot water and connect that down further so that it can stop here. I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. So that it can stop right here. It's got to be pushed down a little bit further. So at least I know that that has a connection piece. And when I test the system, I can see whether or not there's any leakages. So over to the next one. I'm gonna have you guys watch one more, because this is the same all the way around. And excuse me, this is what I'm doing today, just trying to get everything connected. And if I have to go back to the store for something, as you see, I have to go back for another connection piece, because this one, again, like I said, is not working out with the hose that I bought this year versus the hose that I bought years ago. There we go. And then you just screw that on there. And again, I'm right-handed, so this isn't working for me. I'm gonna try it. It feels tight. And I put a shutoff valve over here. This is connecting over to the orchard area. And that way, if I need to shut the orchard area off, I can. Same thing. Put that in there like that. As you can see, it went in too quickly. It's not going to keep the water out. It's not secure enough. It will be on this end. So I'll have to figure something else out. But I won't let you all sit here and watch me do this, because I'm going to be doing this for quite a while today. And then I will go back and figure out how I can find some larger one of these, because I got these online. They were supposed to fit, so I have to go back to the drawing board. But at least I know what pieces I need as I connect these. And when I go to order something slightly larger, if I can find it, then I'll know what pieces to get. So this is what I'm doing this morning, and I'll see you all in a little while. I've done all I can do today. I have dry fit each and every one of the connections. You see here, this is the back of the garden. I just showed you the entire garden. I put a T-junction going towards the cattle panel here. I have another T-junction and a shutoff valve at the cattle panel going here. Over by the greenhouse build, I have put in a shutoff valve here. Showed you this before, but I did a dry fit and a shutoff valve, and it's going into the greenhouse so that I can shut this off if I need be. And if I need to tap a line, I can just push this PVC pipe up a little bit and run a line in the temporary greenhouse to give this water. I don't believe I'll need it. I have water down here as well as my pump sprayer, so this area is okay for right now. So where I started, I did dry fit these pieces here. Put a shutoff valve. This is by the gate, and as you all know, going out that way, I am going to be putting a cut flower garden, but I'm just setting up irrigation right now so that I can have it in place when I need it, because it's getting hot and I'm going to need additional watering, like I mentioned in my last video. Everything that I can think of that I want on drip, because not everything is going to be on drip. I am going to still hand water. This is not a foul proof system. You do have to come out and check it. You do have to get out here and hand water. You have to make sure that your emitters are continuing to work the way they should. And so I've laid the line, as I mentioned. I have dry fit everything, and in the next video I will be attaching the 1/4 inch, I think it's a 1/4 inch tubing that's supposed to come in the mail today. I'll attach the emitters, and I'll show you what I'm talking about towards the back of the garden. Little tubes right here that my emitters are on. This tubing is what I'm waiting for in the mail. I have some, but I ordered a little bit more. That way when I get started, I don't have to stop. So that's going to be it for today. This is the back of the garden. As you can see, there are a ton of tube lines here. I'm going to be removing these, but for right now, I need to get them heated up. There is no sun. It's extremely overcast today, so it's been very difficult to work in the garden. But I'm going to get those heated up. I'm going to get them removed. I'm going to get them placed exactly where I need them to go. I'm going to first start out with using what I already have on this line here, this main water line. I'm going to use these tubes first, and then I'm going to go through and add new ones, because I will need new ones. So that's all I have for you all today in the garden. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of drip irrigation. I know it looks a little bit complicated, but it's not as complicated as it may seem. Once you get in there and start adding your tubing, adding your main water line, it becomes a little bit easier, because you configure it to how your garden is set up, and that's what I'm doing. So until part 3, which will be the final segment in adding drip irrigation, I want to say thank you for joining me in the garden. I hope this has been useful, helpful, entertaining, educational for someone, for all. And I hope that if you are thinking about adding drip irrigation, that you now see that it is not that intimidating, and all you need to do is get your products and get out there and add it in. So until the next video, I'll see you either in the kitchen
or the garden real soon. Bye for now.
Don't you cry, just